An extract of a Couldney tale, a novel written and read by Pip Penman. Chapter 1, Scarlet. Walking through a vodka mist of my own creation, I placed one foot slowly in front of the other. In a distant brain space, I heard a second step of footsteps echoing behind me. I clenched my teeth against the whipping night air and continued my old lady shuffle. I was trying to avoid being murdered, but at this time of night, Edinburgh's cobbled side streets are covered in a slick but deadly sheen, and I'd had around 17 drinks too many. My options were to move at this not-so-hero-worthy pace, or to slip and fall right on my cunt. If I am to be murdered by the mysterious footsteps getting louder and louder behind me, I'm no about to have embarrassment be my last act on earth. The scuffling sounds following me thudded against the clammy walls of the dark alley, but faded before any soul above would notice. This city leads a double life. It's a maze of two-tiered streets and bridges that let you ignore the grimy goings-on in the passageways below. Cosy night lamps hugged the main streets above, but didn't bother comforting cheaters taking shortcuts home. I kept walking. Too fair to turn my head around, I let the echoing footsteps follow me in hot pursuit. Wobbling and zigzagging across the stone floor, each missing cobble caught the toe of my boot and almost sent me flying. At least if I do follow my jeer and get strangled to death by my chaser, it will nae hurt because I'm utterly fucked. Stumble, slip, patter, 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 a cacophony of 3 a.m. murder. Suddenly, I heard a demented shriek and a blade to glance over my shoulder. The sharp movement caused my vision to explode into a whirling grey blur. I could see me and the dungeon-like walls of the back streets as if I was watching myself from above. The alleyway seemed to rotate upside down with my feet stuck to the floor like a madhouse. Christ, I need to lay off the bucky. Forcing my head forward, I scrunched my fists into tight balls inside my jacket pockets and staggered on. Then there was another scream behind me and my nerves packed in so I could finally break into a run. Doc Martens clunking heavily against the ground, my jacket flailed around me like a cape as I legged it out the alleyway. The screeching behind me was getting louder and louder, but I was closing in on the Disneyland blue lights of Tesco Express on the main street ahead. I stepped off the curb and slop. Thick, gloopy liquid from the drain flooded into my boots and ran up my tights. A mixture of freezing rainwater and dog and human piss soaked into my skin. Edinburgh's backstreet drains have been in the business of collecting the gruesome since the bloody plague. Gardy-loo! I cackled over my shoulder at my attacker and began to cackle hysterically, crossing the alleyway's marathon tape line into the safety of a well-lit Lothian road. Finally outside Tesco, I glanced around, but the bastard following me had vanished. Poof! Good riddance, you creeper. Meal deals and iron and brew were my prizes for surviving yet another evening in the capital. Inside the shop, a harsh white light leapt onto me and made me feel like I was an insect in a specimen jar. I blinked heavily to steady myself. There were a few other bug-eyed shoppers out of this hour, but my mind was focused on the kaleidoscope of brightly packaged biscuits. Mr. K's lemon slices, coffee cake, Victoria sponge, strawberry tarts, and cherry bakewells were to name but a few of my options. What to pick? A large man dressed like he was ready to join the secret services was tailing me around the shop. What was with everyone being up my arse tonight? I did a few laps of the aisles, running my hands along the cardboard boxes of cake, squishy packets of sweets, icy cold juice bottles in the fridge. My brain couldn't decide what would be the most satisfying. Then the MI6 operative tailing me cleared his throat loudly and I reluctantly floated to the self-checkout. In fairness, I had been contemplating the best way to shove lemon slices down my pants. At the scanner, I squinted at my double, staring back from the CCTV screen mounted above. The metallic lens surveyed me with that creepy Orwell meets 21st century smirk. Then, the doppelganger in the monitor stepped outside of the screen and flung its arms around my shoulder. I've been following you since the Kilgate, you daft bastard. Didn't you hear me yelling? Thank you.